one of my favorite sayings that we have on the Never Triggered apparel, right? Hard times create strong men create easy times create weak men create tough times. Well, tough times, right? Tough times create strong men, right? So the tough times, think about, again, your great-grandfather, like, you know, riding the horse to and fro, and when laundry was done and it got on the damn wash bin, and, you know, you had to harvest crops, and cattle had to be looked after. And I mean, everything was done traditionally, actually from scratch. You know what I mean? You had to create things. You wanted a house, you got to build that motherfucker. But in order to build that motherfucker, you got to harvest the lumber first. That means chop down trees. You know, like, those are hard, those are tough times. But the result of that is going to be a very strong man. Both physically strong, strong-willed, right? Strong-hearted, right? Just tough all the way around. Right? So tough times create strong men. Strong men then create easy times, because then these strong men go and their toil produces results that make the world easier, right? The Industrial Revolution, technological advances, all of these things. Even sanitary napkins for women was designed by men, right? Right? So tough times create strong men. Then those strong men create easy times. So times easy, right? You know, you got a warrior who's out fighting in the war, and he's all jacked and cut up, and he's full of testosterone, and but now the war is won. He goes back to the crib and sits down for a cool 3 years in a row. Now he got a beer belly, right? Because the easy times, there's no war to be fought. So now the easy times are creating a weak man now. Now the guy that's sitting there with the beer belly is weak, right? So I genuinely believe that to be the cycle of essentially the earth, right? Historical cyclicality, like the times we're in now are as a result of times being too easy for too long, which has bred and given birth to weak men, right? As just the reality. And then because the society overwhelmingly, especially in the West, has weak men, tough times are ahead. And we're starting to see the precipice of that now, and it's going to culminate. I just know it. There's just no other way for it to happen. So if you rewind to your grandfather, you know what I mean, 150 years ago, it was a different, and I say men just because ultimately everything is going to start from that. But foundationally, your men were different 150 years ago than they are now. You know what I'm saying? Like the shit an average male would complain about and that comes out of their mouth is starkly different than what would come out of the men of yesteryear's mouths. You know, it makes me. Now we're in the happy wife, happy life generation, which is nauseating in and of itself. Inherently, women in general don't know what they want or what makes them happy to begin with. So if you tie your happiness to whether or not the woman is happy, you will forever be in a perpetual state of unease, dis-ease, right? Ultimately, if a woman's in a situation, in a setting where everything is secure and she's safe, she can be in a place of peace. But that's going to come from, she'll draw that from you, the man, ultimately, right? So, you know, to tie that, you know, that whole saying, happy wife, happy life, it's just problematic in so many ways. A woman goes through cycles, man doesn't, right? So just that cyclicality in and of itself, just on a baseline level, there's more ups and downs to that than there is with us. What would you call the guy who's always catering to the woman and giving her everything she wants? Nice guy? I've heard that nice guys finish when. So this is weird now. So you mean to tell me happy wife, happy life, which means I need to cater to everything that she wants at any given moment to make sure she's always happy and give her what she wants. But then inherently that would make me a simp or a nice guy. But now we know nice guys finish last. So now I'm in a cycle, right? So I'm constantly trying to make sure she's happy, but that's making me a nice guy, and women typically don't like nice guys, or they wear off pretty fast, right? You're tired, this motherfucker's always next to me, always trying, right? That shit would get annoying after a while. We know that. I've been told directly and indirectly, I know that. The guy who's always doting and always trying to make sure you're okay is the one that's not really being checked for. Right? And generally the guys that are very doting and really extra and over the top are those that come from a place of lack. right? If you're in a situation where you've gone a number of years in your adolescence or your teens or whatever the hell it is, and if female attention is not something that was very present in your life, well then when you get it, you kind of smother it. You know what I'm saying? You hold on to it. You fucking pretty bird, like you wanna keep it right here, and then that leads to anything you try to hold on too tight tends to want to push away, right? So that's what happens. So I get it. For a woman, it's like, yeah, don't do that initially. Don't be that guy. But that guy is going to be that guy. You know what I'm saying? So then when you meet the guy who's not that guy, that's the one you end up following. And then you may fall for him. And then he's never going to be that guy, but he's always going to keep you chasing after. You know what I mean? We're only here for a short lifetime, so that's enough to keep it fresh. Time to time, he may sprinkle you with some extra stuff, which is great. That's how we do it. Keeps you fresh, throw a little romance here, a little romance there, but for it to be overbearing and 24/7, well, anything out of balance is out of balance. There's a saying I would always say is, you wear sweatpants with no pockets. That's what I call a man who doesn't call no shots. Let me explain how it works, right? I remember when I was a kid, they used to do these little church trips with the kids they would take the kids to the amusement park. And the kids, they would always have sweatpants with no pockets in them. And the only bit of personal belongings they would ever have is their fucking ID in a waterproof lanyard hanging around their neck. All you need, in case this motherfucker gets lost, you got the ID right here. But you don't need no wallet, you don't need no cash, no phone, no keys. You don't need it. You get on the trip, right? So now, superimpose that over the man, the happy wife, happy life, who's just, he can't make no fucking decisions. Get this nigga sweatpants with no pockets. Just puts the ID on his neck. That's all he's good for. You need balance. Right? So yeah, that's just a little light touch on that happy wife, happy life. This whole easy times trading weak men. That's just where we're at. I guess closing message is exactly what the script says, right? In myself, I trust. I think we put more emphasis on just building a better us individually. Don't worry about what the next person is doing. You sharpen your own sword. If we all do that within ourselves, collectively, we'll be stronger. But we got a lot of issues. We're steaming towards what's the inevitable anyway. Everybody's perishing. We all die. It's just a matter of trying to get our next generation stronger so that they're not continuing down that degradation society. But that's all I got.